A one and a two and a chick-a-boom a chick.
Hey Remodelers, before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our friends at Builder Funnel. I've personally known Spencer and his team for over a decade, and they are the marketing agency that helps remodelers generate more leads, book more projects, and grow revenue. If you're tired of relying on the inconsistency of referrals and want a system that brings in predictable, high-quality leads, Builder Funnel can help. Head over to builderfunnel.com/ROTR to learn more. Builderfunnel.com/ROTR to learn more. So I don't know where you are currently listening to this or maybe even watching it. It goes up on YouTube. It goes on all the podcast apps. If you're driving, take a deep breath. You've probably been running and gunning today. Now you're listening to a little bit of training. The reason, hopefully, you're listening to this podcast is maybe to be entertained a little bit, but primarily to find an item or two that would be helpful in your remodeling journey. Maybe you're sitting at your desk and you're looking around your desk going, oh, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to be done. When that happens, take a breath, pick the next right thing to work on, and just focus singularly on that item. Perhaps even go into cocoon mode. I'll share what cocoon mode is when I get to point number 3. Or maybe you're listening to this while working out. All I can say to you is good for you. It is interesting when we think about our focus on business, our focus on money, our focus on maybe even our mental health and having awareness of that we also need to consider how are we doing with our physical health. So if you're listening to this while working out, killing it, keep it up. So wherever you are as you're listening to this, I hope you're having a wonderful day. What we're going to do today is hit on 9 items that are in Kyle's dome that are going around in his head and heart today that will hopefully be of assistance and help to you. So we won't do a drum roll because we're not going to count down. We're just going to go 1 up to 9. Number one, here's something that's a little bit related, not a little bit, a lot related to the design and project development phase of things. There is a big difference between these 2 items. Number 1, this is you talking to your prospect. Hey, they're in, and also let me set the stage. They're in design and development. Number 1, hey, please let us know when you complete your selections so we can finalize your contract. Or the second one that says, I know we have selections to finalize. Can we meet next Tuesday to review them? Let us know how we can help. Let us know if a 2:00 p.m. Zoom call would work for you. Option 1 there is totally dependent on your client. That might take them 3 weeks, and you really want to get this thing finalized so you can get the project started based on your scheduling needs. Option 2 is leaning in a little bit and leading the conversation and helping the project run more proactively. This exact advice I gave to a couple clients recently, but one in particular who nodded when we were on Zoom and said, I get that. I've been super passive. I've just been leaving it 100% in their court. And he leaned in. And that leaning in led to getting and finalizing the selections for a big bathroom project and getting the contract signed. And also that leaning in led to forward movement on another project he had in design and development as well. So be a little proactive, lean in, lead your clients. That's number 1 of 9 on today's Remodelers on the Rise podcast. I'm also, if you're watching the video version of this, we've been doing a much better job of, actually, I'll do this. Number two is related to social media. I'll give you a item from Remodelers on the Rise. For years, Bailey, who's been on my team for 6 years, happy work anniversary 15 days ago, Bailey. It was not an April Fool's joke. She started on April 1st, 6 years ago. For years, we've thought, man, we're creating all of these podcasts. We should be able to chop them up into little 1-minute segments and use those as reels. Obviously, as people who, if you scroll social media on Instagram or Facebook, obviously reels quick, short videos are extremely important. True or false? Instagram would rather have you make a post on Instagram or a reel. That is false. They want you to make reels. That's what people are consuming. So for years we've had this goal, and we just turned Cassie, who was on our team, at 30 hours a week up to full time. And one of the things that we finally, after several years, have been able to do is we're starting to post more reels more regularly. We are seeing engagement increase. Cassie actually reported at our level 10 meeting. I'll tell you about that in a second. Our level 10 meeting, how that our engagement is way up. Our followers are increasing consistently, and it's because of the type of content that we're putting up. So that's number two, a little marketing related thing. You need to dig into reels. You need to look into, how do I create short, quick videos? Look up CapCut as an option to dig into related to creating those videos. But I'm also very self-conscious as I'm recording this podcast. I'm trying to put the screen a little bit further away from me because we're putting so many reels up, and my wife follows my Facebook page. She's like, oh, she keeps getting jarred because my big noggin, like this, my big noggin is showing up in her feed and spooking her. So I'm trying to get a little further away so that my noggin isn't quite as big in our reels. But that's number two, is related to getting creative and trying some new things, in particularly with your social media content. All right. So that was number one. Number two. Number three is just a quick little post related to kind of how you're managing your team, so your people system, if you will. And it says the following: it's easy to nitpick and find the bad. Oh, it's easy to nitpick and find the bad. We want to spend today finding some good things your team is doing and thank them. Find some good things your team is doing and thank them. I know it's easy to find the things they're not doing. I know that it's easy to find some things that are annoying you and nitpick, but it's really important from a leadership standpoint to be a source of positivity, to not be the boss and the leader who is always finding the faults. There is a correlation between employees who enjoy their work and bosses who allow them to be recognized and to be seen for the work they're doing. That doesn't mean we ignore the bad, by no means, but it does mean that we spend a little more time perhaps on identifying some good things. So that's the third, number 3 of 9 that we're hitting on today. Hopefully in those 3 so far, you're already finding a few little nuggets of knowledge or something for you to do. Number 4 is kind of related to mindset. Related to mindset. I made a post the other day that said, "Have a wonderful weekend, hardworking remodelers. How's your mindset as you enter the weekend?" And I think when we consider our mindset, some people are very clear and see kind of their mood and how they're navigating their day and showing up in the world pretty clearly. And a lot of us, it's a little bit of a blur. What I would encourage you to do is to slow down a pace or two and really think about, how would I describe my mindset today? And if you expanded that out a little bit more, how would I describe my mindset in general? Are you anxious quite often? Are you frequently kind of pit in your stomach, nervous? Are you a bit frantic and kind of just bark out directions and next steps to everybody around you? Are you a man or woman of peace and you are pretty calm? If so, how do you consistently stay in that? Are you fired up and ready to roll? Are you focused? Are you in a mindset of you're consistently focused on what you need to do next? What kind of mindset do you have? What kind of mindset do you want to have more consistently? And probably the most important thing is, as I consider it for myself, is How do I get my mindset in the place that I want it more regularly? So if I were to take this exercise for myself, what I would say is I desire to have a mindset that is calm. I desire to not feel frantic in my days. I desire to have some solid energy and not feel lethargic and wore out. I want to have a mindset that's got some excitement in it, that I'm really looking forward to the day. And when I think about those things, there's other things that need to happen. I need to get to sleep on time. I need to move my body and work out a bit. I need to fuel my body with decent food. Shocking. If I eat a bunch of junk food, I feel like crap. I'm more tired and I don't perform as well at work. From a business standpoint, I need to organize my schedule so that it's not jam-packed, stacked meetings on top of each other. I need to end my day and start my day with really reflecting on what I accomplished or didn't accomplish, and really start my day with a clear plan and priorities for the day. Those are things that I know from being a student of myself and my own mindset that I need to be doing in order to be in a solid, positive mindset. So consider that. Think about that. How's your mindset as you enter this weekend? So we touched on number one, a little bit of design development, touched on number two, some social media content, touched on number three of how we're leading our team and finding some good things. We touched on number four, which is related to our mindset. We are now going to take a brief moment to hear this lovely message from one of your beloved Remodelers on the Rise podcast sponsors. If you're a remodeler looking for a website that actually generates leads, not just sits there collecting dust, then listen up. Most remodeling websites look nice, but don't do much else. That's why Builder Funnel created The Foundation, a performance-based website theme built specifically for remodelers. It's designed to attract, engage, and convert homeowners into high-quality leads. With The Foundation, you get a beautiful, high-converting website optimized for SEO, packed with lead capture tools, and powered by proven marketing strategies from over the last 15 years and in dozens of markets. Plus, their recent client satisfaction ratings have been off the charts. So if you're ready for a website that actually helps grow your business, head over to builderfunnel.com/ROTR. That's builderfunnel.com/ROTR to learn more. Okay, and we're back. We're going just through 9 things that are kind of popping around my noggin. We're going to get into a couple questions that a few people had sent me. But so far, we've touched into the sales system. We've touched into the marketing system. We've touched into some people system and leadership, touched into some mindset-related things. Number 5 is this little book I grabbed earlier today, and it's called The Sandler Rules. 49 Timeless Selling Principles and How to Apply Them. Sandler, Sandler. And what I would encourage you to do is, as I grab this book off of my shelf there, if you're watching the video version, you'll see a bunch of pages earmarked. Dog marked? I think it's earmarked. Makes more sense. And you'll see I folded over the pages of several of these. My wife would hate this. She loves taking her books and she would never fold the pages, and she underlines things just beautifully. I'm like, man, I'm scribbling. I love that. Circle that thing, fold that over. But my point here is, as a business owner, I have a feeling that you have read portions of books, read full books before. Some of the best advice is to go back to a book that was impactful for you and reread it. Reread it. That's your task on next to number 5 here, is just to go back, find a book and open it up. What did you highlight? What did you earmark? What did you circle? What was impactful for you then? I have a feeling that you either didn't implement it, or you've implemented it and it's a really good reminder so that you can continue to fine tune it and improve it. But that's number 5. Grab a book. And if you're looking for a book recommendation, Sandler is a wonderful sales training. And this is a lovely, short little 3 pages each on 49 wonderful, some might say timeless selling principles. And I also like it. And how to apply them. Whoop-de-doo, there's an idea. Let's actually figure out how to apply it. Side note, Again, if you're watching the video, you're getting a lot here. This is a lovely hat from Boyd Remodeling and Construction out in Idaho. Anthony, longtime client, and a peer group member, mailed this in and said, this is a hat of the week submission. You may see it coming up on a hat of the week. If you're not following the hat of the week content, I don't know what you're doing. It is some wonderful content that we're putting out. Number 6 is a question that was posted recently from Kimberly George. It says, I'm curious about hiring subs versus in-house employees. What determines when you find a full-time employee for a specific trade versus a subcontractor? We have done both and find pros and cons for both. Well, first, we're not calling them subcontractors. That just has a negative feel to it and tone to it. We call them trade partners. They are partners. They are longtime partners, people that we trust to come into our clients' homes. So it's just a little thing. But this never ending will always be debated, will always be a thing in the remodeling business. Do I want to go more trade partner heavy? Do I want to go in-house labor heavy? And she said they've done both, and they have seen pros and cons for both. I have at this point coached hundreds and hundreds of remodelers. I could tell you stories about remodelers. Anthony Slaybaugh Remodeling down in Ohio just popped into my mind. Very, very heavy on trade partners, able to produce millions of dollars of revenue a year through trade partners without any in-house employees. I could tell you about clients of mine who are 90% in-house employees. Dan Ford, out Ford Custom Renovations. Oh, he makes a joke. He's like, I love hiring people. He's way heavier in in-house team members. Now, in those two examples, Dan goes, hey, John, I need you to go here at 9 o'clock. And then when you're done with that, I need you to pop over there. And the employee goes, you betcha, boss, no problem. Dan has a lot of control over the schedule of his team members. Anthony Slaybaugh, full out trade partners, might not have as much ability to say, hey, I really need you here today, because they might be tied up with other clients and with other projects. Dan also, on the in-house labor, has to worry about, crap, I got 40 hours a week to keep all of these people busy, and projects don't always line up. There's an inherent kind of stress that is involved in that. Anthony doesn't have that concern. There are pros and cons. We could keep going through it over and over. What I see a lot of these days is a pretty nice blending of it, of having a handful of in-house team members who specialize in this and this and this, and finding trade partners to fill in the gaps when it comes to, it could be drywall, it could be painting, it could be framing, it could be tile work. And the thing, Kim, I would probably encourage you most on is, where are your gaps at? And, finding some specific effort towards focusing on a specific trade partner and finding an upgrade or a replacement or whatever kind of the weak link is there. Or think about your in-house team members. What I see often is I've got in-house team members who can do tile work, but tile work is very labor intensive. So if I have one of my in-house team members doing tile work, it really negates our ability to have another project going on simultaneously or to keep a project really flowing. So that's the other balance that I'm coaching on and that I see quite often, is perhaps looking and identifying what are some of the tasks and trades that your in-house team members are doing that maybe you could take away from them and find a good trade partner for. What that allows us to do is, with our same amount of team members in the field, I'm able to increase my overall capacity and ability to produce revenue because I've balanced that out a little bit. One thing I love about the remodeling industry is there's not one right way to do it. And in this case, there's not one right way to do it. There's a lot of different factors, but those are some of the things that we could start to think about related to that, Kimberly. Hopefully that was helpful. That was number 6. Again, just 9 things that are percolating around my mind and that was submitted to me in today's Remodelers on the Rise episode. Number seven is from Philip Kilpatrick. And first he asked me how my weight loss journey is going, because I said from the stage at Job Tread Connect back in January, I was going to lose 10 pounds. I'd say we're holding steady, Philip. Let's say I'd had a little hack yesterday at Panera. I'm a Sip Club member, although I'm drinking non-Panera coffee this morning. And I'd had a little hack that went, you know what? I could, when I pick up my Sip Club coffee, I could just order a salad and put it at my office here. My buddy Terry's down the hall. He's got a little fridge in there, and I could just eat that for lunch. That was a good eating healthy hack right there. So it's ebbing and flowing. It's ebbing and flowing, Philip. Thank you for asking. And then he said some real questions, and he had some real questions in here. How do you deal with rapid growth of a company, doubling in a year without sacrificing quality? How do you communicate expectations to clients so they know what their wait time is and how the project is progressing? How do you keep your stress level at a decent level while doing all of this? There's some good questions there. Let's unpack a couple of them. So how do you deal with rapid growth of a company doubling in a year without sacrificing quality? There's this balancing act. Oh, you're juggling, Philip. You're juggling here. And a big part of it is to always be thinking about and using the word capacity. All right, what is our capacity? What is our capacity? What I see often with rapid growth is that we're starting too many projects. Oh crap, this client, it's kind of related to your second question. This client's gonna be ticked because we told them we're gonna start on next week, and we really need to wrap up these other three. And instead of delivering that disappointing news to them, you figure out a way to kind of start the project, and now you're juggling even more. You're barely able to kind of be present for there. This project's dragging on a week or two longer because you don't have many resources you can put towards that, and you're juggling. So one of the things with rapid growth is to look at your production capacity and make sure you're not starting up too many jobs at once. That's where so much stress comes from for remodelers. So be careful related to that. Work hard to make sure that you have a good, solid amount of dollars in your bank account, some retained earnings. Sometimes we're hiring people and we're going, and our margin for error is very low. So as far as when I have some rapid growth going in a remodeling business, and I'm trying to keep my stress down, making sure that you are stocking away dollars and having a safety net there is really, really beneficial. That's another thought that comes to mind there. Take your production schedule really seriously. Spend a good amount of time on that. Think through what you need from a hiring standpoint, hopefully before you need it. How do you deal with rapid growth of a company, doubling a year without sacrificing quality? So those are a few thoughts. And as far as the sacrificing quality side, you have a standard at which you work and you deliver work. So whoever you have, whether it's trade partners coming on, make sure you're communicating that. When you're seeing a standard of quality of work too low, you need to talk about that frequent and often. You need to not push that down the road of the project and deal with that at the end. You need to, right from the get-go, tell your existing team members, folks, we need to step our game up. We've got more going than we ever have. We have growth in the company, which is going to allow for opportunities for all of us, but we need to step our game up like never before. Sports teams in the regular season sometimes coast, and then they get into the playoffs, and all of a sudden they find another level. And then as the playoffs go, they find another notch up, notch up, notch up. There's a level of intensity. There's an element of preparation. There's an element of focus. And that's a little bit of what you need to be instilling in your team. Celebrate the wins, identify where you're letting things down, letting things go, and attack the day with enthusiasm unknown to mankind. That's business. There's going to be times where we just bit off more than we can chew, and we got to chew, 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 and work through it really, really hard to get on the other side of it. And usually the other side of it allows us to kind of elevate into our next level in business. How do you communicate expectations to clients so they know what their wait time is and how the project is progressing? When it's a few months out, you talk about a season that it's going to start. When it's a month or so out, you start talking about the month and maybe some weeks. You err on the side of this is a cautious start date right now. And as we get closer, we will be able to fine tune and pin that down. And you say things like, we want to make sure that we finish projects before you so that we have our full focus on those, so that when we get to your project, we can put our full focus on it. If we start too many projects at the same time, projects end up lingering and taking longer and longer. And we don't want to do that for our existing clients, and we don't want to do that for your project. So that's a key as far as the wait time goes. And how the project is progressing, and we communicate frequently. We have a standing meeting every week with the client where we can talk about how the project is progressing. We're doing daily logs, so the client has insight there. We're either talking to them on site and letting them know what to expect the next day. It's all about communication. Communicate. If we are communicating frequently, generally speaking, clients' moods and client stress levels are kept at bay. And then thirdly, speaking of stress level, how do you keep your stress level a decent level while doing all of this? Realizing you can't take on everything all at once, putting projects and putting things you want to work on in the business. Sometimes they need to go in the parking lot. I'd love to work on that, but it needs to just sit over here for a few months because I have enough to focus on. Your work will expand to the amount of time you give it. So you need to set a time that you're done every day to kind of keep your sanity, if you will. You need to make sure that you're fueling your body well with food. You need to make sure that you're moving your body so that you're not getting stagnant. That's just taking care of your health, gives you more energy to deal with the stress. You need to make sure that just life is balanced. Find some time for your family. Find some time for a hobby or two that you enjoy. And keep focused on kind of the long-term vision of where you're going. So those are some tips there. Phil, I think I answered those pretty decent. Hopefully you grabbed a nugget or two in there, but we're going to keep cruising. Number 8, what do I do when a project's going? Actually, here's what we're going to do for number 8. Sometimes when I record, especially these standalone podcasts, they're up against a coaching call. Folks, I got 2 minutes before my coaching call with Josh Nelson with Nelson Builders. So number 8 is eat your frog. What's the most important thing you need to get done today that you're most likely to put off? Identify that and eat that frog. And number 9 is 5P. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Did we 5P that? Hey, did you 5P the pre-construction meeting? Hey, did you 5P the schedule coming up? If you can use that acronym and your team knows what that is, that will be a nice little tool that you have to make sure that we are prepared properly. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. There's your 9 things, folks. Did you grab something out of that? Send me an email. Let me know what your takeaway was today. That warms my heart when I see that. And also keep an eye out, August 5th and 6th, 2025, the RISE conference in Ann Arbor, Michigan. If you haven't already seen info on it, you will be very soon. Go to remodelers.com. You'll see information about the RISE conference. Would love to have you live and in person with us. Have a wonderful, productive, enjoyable day. See ya.